Hi BookTube, I'm here with a spoiler rave review of this fantasy series. This is the Fionavar Tapestry by Gavriel Kay. This is about 5 University of Toronto students who are taken by a wizard into another realm, the first realm, the realm of Fionavar. They think they're just going as guests for King's celebration, but they're actually going to play a much bigger role. They're going to become key players in the ultimate battle between good, evil, and random. There are dwarves, variations on elves, there are different races of people, there are gods and there are demigods, and there's ordinary people. It's a story that is simultaneously page-turning and thought-provoking. This book was written in response to the high fantasy of the 1980s to show that characters could have more depth and be more about character development as well as the typical fantasy elements. You'll see a lot of similarities in the Fionavar Tapestry to the Lord of the Rings and the world building and the different species and the mythology, because Gavriel Kay actually helped Christopher Tolkien assemble the Silmarillion for publication, so he really knows his Tolkien lore. But he also incorporates a lot of Norse mythology and the grittier aspects of the King Arthur legends, and even Maori and Celtic mythology. And it doesn't really feel like patchwork, it really quite feels organic in how he incorporates this. Another important thing to note is that all 3 books feel as if they are just one larger book. There's no resolved plot in each separate book, as they're all just telling one big story. I want to talk about the writing. The writing's not for everyone. This is definitely an adult book, not only in content, but also in writing. It is a literary fantasy. Some may describe it as dense, but personally I love that style. Love a lot of description. But almost every review I've read agreed that the writing is lyrical. And I have to agree with that. Kay is really able to capture some really profound and deeply sad moments in such a beautiful fashion. He also really respects his reader, in that he leaves a lot for his readers to pick up on themselves without pushing it in your face. I saw one reviewer actually complain about how vague he felt one person's powers were, but I felt that if he'd actually paid attention to the story, he would have known what the powers were, because, you know, they aren't stated in black and white, they're implied. I also want to talk about the magic system. This is a really cool magic system. There are 2 actual systems taking place. The first magic users are the priestesses of Dana, who use earth and blood magic and draw from her power and from the earth. And the second are the more traditional mages or wizards, who draw their power from a fiercely loyal and close companion, so that if their companion is not there with them, they are completely powerless. And this person is kind of like their soulmate. So it's not necessarily a romantic or sexual soulmate, it is an intense friendship. And I thought that was really cool. Let's talk about tropes and modern characters and how these are incorporated in the story. I thought it was really cool to include modern characters interacting with the king and with the god characters and with these more traditional medieval kind of feeling characters that you find in fantasy. He manages to kind of keep those comforting tropes, but also add an extra depth so that, you know, the king character isn't just this perfect one-dimensional king, but he's a fully realized person, and he's challenged by these modern ideas and concepts. And we get, you know, therefore complex and emotional characters. It becomes more than just about defeating evil. It's about the relationship between people and their relationships based on the roles that they play. And it takes these tropes and storylines that we actually know and love from fantasy and all these childhood fantasy tales, and weaves it into a tale worthy for adults who have grown up with these tales. That's my raving part. I now want to talk about the ending, so this is going to be a spoiler warning. I'm not going to come out and directly say what happens, but it could be considered a spoiler, so if you haven't read the series, you probably want to stop watching at this point. The ending! It had me stressed out because it could have gone either way, and I really loved that Kay was able to hold that suspense and not fully reveal which way that character was going to lean in the end. And to have such an epic story end in such a quiet action, I think it really reflects the overarching theme of the human spirit triumphing over evil through sacrifice. So that's it. That's the Fionavar Tapestry by Gavriel Kay.